Maupay na adlaw ha inyo nga tanan. Buckle up as we are about to take off to the easternmost border of the Philippine archipelago. The Region 8, Eastern Visayas. The flow of the report is as follows. First, the introduction. Second, profile of the region. Third, literary work of the region. Fourth, analysis. Fifth, the summary. This would be reported by yours truly, Silorio Garaldave and Sebwa Ayan Sandro. And today's objectives, we will be able to know one of the literature in Region 8 Eastern Visayas and to understand the features of Filipino-ness in the region's literary work. Now are you ready? Let's take off! Tara! Kalakad kita! Region 8, also known as Eastern Visayas Region, lies in the easternmost border of the Philippine archipelago. Its two main islands, Leyte and Samar, are connected by San Juanico Bridge, the second longest bridge in Southeast Asia. The region lies in the eastern part of the country's Visayan belt. The region is bounded on the east by the Pacific Ocean, on the north by the Bicol Peninsula, on the northwest by the Samar Sea, on the west by the Camotes Sea, and on the south by the Surigao Strait and the Bohol Sea. Eastern Visayas has an agriculture-based economy, being the top producers of abaca and the third largest coconut growing region in the country. Aside from that, it is also dubbed as the geothermal capital of the Philippines because of its abundant geothermal power reserve. It is also known for its abundant deposits of metallic and non-metallic minerals. Aside from natural resources, the region has also a lot of natural beauty to be proud of. The region is endowed with beautiful natural attractions like beaches, caves, mountains, and lakes. Eastern Visayas has truly become a favorite destination for tourists and investors because of its abundant economic resources, natural beauty, and improved transportation and telecommunication facilities. Around these natural resources, Eastern Visayas has a terrain which is relatively flat near and along its coasts. The mountainous areas of the region are located in the middle portion of the sister islands of Leyte and Samar. Due to its geographic location, the region's climate generally belongs to the second climatic type, which is characterized by having no distinct dry and with very pronounced maximum rain period during the months of November to January. Region 8 has also different municipalities and cities. Eastern Visayas was composed of 6 provinces, 136 municipalities, 7 cities, 4,390 barangays. These 6 provinces includes Northern Samar, Leyte, Eastern Samar, Southern Leyte, Samar, and Biliran, with the highly urbanized city of Tacloban as the sole regional center or the capital of Region 8 Eastern Visayas. This vast region was inhabited by 4,440,150 population as determined by the 2015 census. This represented 22.92% of the overall population of the Visayas Island Group, or 4.40% of the entire population of the Philippines. Leyte is the most populous with 1,724,679, and Biliran being the lowest with 171,612. This time, let's traverse to the literature wonders of the region.
Hi! To highlight the Region 8 literature, we are going to have Totoon and Boaon. There were 2 friends, Boaon and Totoon. They couldn't find work, so they decided to go away from their place to look for their fortune somewhere. However, as they went on, the supplies that they brought along the way weren't enough for their journey. On their way, they encountered different circumstances that reveal their 2 different personalities. Boaon is more of the aggressive one, and Totoon is more of the patient and compassionate one. Having these characteristics of Totoon, he was able to give a proper burial of the dead man they found on the road, return the fish they caught on the ocean for they were still young, and feed hungry baby eagles along the way. As the story goes on, they arrived at their destination, which is the king's castle, where both of them got a job. Totoon, who shared compassion on his way to the castle, experienced different challenges brought by Boaon's accusation and having to sabotage Totoon. But because of Totoon's kindness on their way to the castle and onto the present, he was helped by the baby of the eagle, the dead man, and the fish as a payback to Totoon's help. Totoon then married a princess and gave birth to an infant that claimed to be a miracle. As we move on, we are going to tackle now the elements of Totoon and Boaon, beginning with its characterization. Here we have two main characters of the story, Totoon and Boaon. Totoon is a compassionate and a kind-hearted person, meaning he is able to show sympathy and concern towards others. This was highly observed in the story as along the way they encountered living things that are in dire need of help. And Totoon never hesitates to offer his help. Another characteristic of Totoon which was portrayed in the folktale is being optimistic. Despite having to delay their journey in order to help those in need, he still looks forward to reaching their destination. On the other hand, Boaon. As opposite as he is to Totoon, Boaon is impatient, which is evident when many of the times he tried to leave Totoon, who was always busy addressing help across their journey. He also blamed Totoon for the delay it caused in their travel. Of all the creatures Totoon helped, he was always cynical to the actions taken by Totoon. In the later part of the tale, Boaon shows being envious towards his, and I quote, friend Totoon, who was appointed by the king to be his secretary, whilst Boaon being assigned in the kitchen as the cook. He tried to make actions that would wrong Totoon in the eyes of the king, but fate always helped Totoon out of the way because of his kindness and generosity. The story was narrated in a third-person point of view, especially that it was told many years ago and was passed by generations to generations. For the places where it all happened, or the setting, Totoon and Boaon stopped by the reef to catch some fish for them to eat. But Totoon said to bring them back to the sea since they were still young as full of fish. The rest of their journey occurred in different roads but took mostly in the forest, where Totoon showed his kindness and offered help, most especially the dead man they found and the hungry baby eagles whom Totoon decided to feed. Lastly, the palace, where their lives changed. Them having to land a job in the palace, and where Boaon showed his true colors to his, and again I quote, friend Totoon, whom many times he tried to sabotage. But in the end, this was also the place where Totoon lived happily after he married the princess with the blessing of the king. The style and approach used in the folktale is informal, as it is similar to a spoken conversation. To be specific, informal writing takes a personal tone as if you were speaking directly to your audience. This was how the Totoon and Boaon being foretold. The literary devices used in the tale are as follows. Allegory. It is a literary device used to express large, complex ideas in an approachable manner. Allegory allows writers to create some distance between themselves and the issues they are discussing, especially when those issues are strong critiques of political or societal realities. In the example, don't mind me, I pity these baby eagles. Anyway, no debt goes unpaid. Go ahead, I'll just follow. This is a great example of an allegory as it was told like a normal reply to Boaon, but in the context, no debt goes unpaid. It tackles a lot of philosophical ideas like karma or having to face consequences of your actions. Indeed, there could be many interpretations to a simple reply of Totoon to Bowaon. Next, we have flashbacks. It is a device that moves an audience from the present moment in a chronological narrative to a scene in the past. Often, flashbacks are abrupt interjections that further explain a story or character with background information and memories. In the example, as Totoon sat on the chair, he remembered the living things that he helped on the way on his journey. This was clearly stated as Totoon recalls the good things he did. It all made sense in the present. His kindness was being paid. And although he almost forgot those since helping others is not a huge deal for him, the living things he helped remember his kindness, which contributed to his current situation. As you can see, Totoon was faced with many challenges because of Bowaon's sabotage and actions, but because of Totoon's kindness and help to those in need, this was all being paid back to him, and now he was able to conquer those challenges. Lastly, foreshadowing. It is a literary device used when the author gives clues and hints about what is to come in the story. In the example, he should sit near the pen, for his future will be bright. This was told by the dead man. The pen foreshadows his career in being the secretary, as what the dead man told in his dream. And there he has it. This is how his life had a huge turn of events. In the wise words of Deepak Chopra, no debt goes unpaid is the main theme of the folk tale. This is the message that was always present in the tale, that being kind pays off, being sympathetic pays off, being generous pays off, and although you don't need to do it for it to pay back you, when your heart is pure, your intentions are clean, and your action is genuine, the universe pays you back. This relates to how we interpret the folk tale. Karma comes back around. The story signifies the true meaning of showing kindness and generosity towards others, for the universe will pay you back with it no matter how impossible the circumstances may be. It is also a lesson to impart on our place in the universe, that we may have personal struggles and have no more space for helping others. Selfishness must not take over our hearts. Should a person decide to go with it, then the fate of them shall only end like Bowaon, who continuously seeks to choose himself all along and failed in the end. For the Filipino-ness of the literary work, we begin with the use of names. As you may know, Totoon is a Waray term that means truthful, while Bowaon translates to falsehood. This itself, with the use of their local language, shows the Filipino-ness of the story, as it remains true to its ethnic background. For the element of superstition, it was commonly observed in the tale by having supernatural characters who were able to communicate with humans. This concept traces back to animism, where the belief that non-human entities are spiritual beings, either intrinsically or because spirits inhabit them. For the characteristics embodied by the characters that show Filipino-ness, pagpapakumbaba, utang na loob, and crab mentality were very much present. Totoon embodies being humble or mapagkumbaba, as even though life changed, he was still humble of himself. And being humble, he has helped all the living things without even thinking that he is superior for doing so. Through the good things and help shown by Totoon to the creatures, including the dead man, they helped him for this deed even without Totoon asking for a payback. And that shows utang na loob, which is very much common for all of the Filipinos. On the negative side, crab mentality was always present. This mentality always drags down others who were doing well, as what Bowaon dominantly possessed by not being happy of the achievements of his so-called friend Totoon, but rather chose to envy him and chose to sabotage all his works. These characteristics speak a lot about us, because although this tale was told by many generations, these traits were carried on by Filipinos even up to this day.
This ends the report for today. Listen herewith were the references of the report. Again, this is Garel Siloria together with Ian Zendro, reporting about the Region 8 Eastern Visayas, featuring the folktale Tutuon and Buwaon, saying, Damo nga salamat ha inyo nga tanan.